Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, February 11, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what the that's been like in your year recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future, although they're in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at the US Climate Prediction Center's Global Tropics Hazards Outlook. And as usual, we're going to be looking at the time period about a week out in advance. So about from February 19 to February 25, as well as February 26 to March 4. And we can see that across the Caribbean, we have some slight greens on both time periods, especially across Jamaica. We see them, that's about a 50% chance of above normal rainfall probability. We'll see if it actually verifies, because you know that usually what the US Climate Prediction Center shows is not 100% set in stone, so we just have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. If we take a look at the rainfall forecast maps here from the Euro and the GFS model that came out today, we can see that according to this latest Euro model, as we focus our attention right here at the timestamp going out to the next 168 hours, and we focus our attention on Jamaica right here, looking for all of this that we see on the key on the right, that's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. We can see basically something similar to what we saw yesterday in terms of the forecast for Wednesday. I'm not seeing much of anything, just some isolated showers across eastern parishes, spilling into section of maybe central and western Jamaica as the day progresses. Heading into Thursday, we see an abundance of moisture extending from the eastern Caribbean to portion of the central Caribbean, all the way up into eastern Jamaica. And then by Thursday afternoon, the rainfall extending across sections of central and western parishes. Heading into Friday, we see just some dots of greens here and there across sections of the island. Saturday, however, we see the moisture across eastern Jamaica, especially the northeastern side. Then during the afternoon, central and western parishes during Saturday afternoon. Sunday, we see the moisture extending from the Windward Islands across the waters of the Caribbean into portion of eastern Jamaica. Then during Sunday afternoon, we see it extending across central and western parishes. Monday, we see the moisture, especially to the south of us, affecting sections of southern parishes Monday morning. Then on Monday afternoon, not seeing much of anything. We'll see how it actually plays out. And then we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Tuesday, February 18. And we can see moisture between Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, moisture to the south of Jamaica, moisture across portions of Central America. We'll see if that actually verifies. But if we take a look here at the GFS model in terms of its forecast, heading into Wednesday, we see that rainfall that's going to be plaguing eastern Jamaica, maybe section of western parishes during the afternoon as well. Thursday, we see some moisture across eastern parishes, western parishes during the afternoon. Northern Jamaica on Friday with some isolated showers. And then Saturday is where the most robust rain comes in. We see the northern and eastern parishes highlighted with the greens, then central and western parishes during the afternoon. Sunday, just some isolated showers across eastern Jamaica, northern and western parishes during Sunday afternoon. And then Monday, we see an abundance of moisture here in and around the island. This is valid for 12Z, which is actually 7 a.m. on Monday. Then we see that by the end of the day on Monday, maybe some isolated showers during this afternoon across southwestern parishes. We're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is also valid for Tuesday, February 18. And we can see some similarities, some differences here. There's some dots of greens to the east of the island, Some greens represent moisture to the south of the Dominican Republic, across section of Central America, just like what the Euro was showing. We'll see if that actually verifies, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with exactly what occurs. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps for the Caribbean from the Euro and the GFS right here, we're just going to be looking at what's expected in terms of all of the rainfall piled up from now up until Tuesday, February 18. And not much change at all. We clearly see that the most rainfall is represented by the reds into the burgundies. That represents what we see here on the key on the right. That's the 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. And the purples into the pinks, that's the 3 to 5 inches of rainfall range. Still gonna be plaguing. We're talking about French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, southern Venezuela, sections of Colombia, Panama, sections of Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, Honduras, into portion of Guatemala, Belize. We also saw an inch of rainfall definitely in store for portions of the Caribbean. We're talking about anywhere from Trinidad and Tobago northward, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe. We also see rainfall in the reds, represents up to an inch of rainfall for a section of the US and British Virgin Islands, eastern Puerto Rico, eastern Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic. And if we also take a look right here at the Euro model, we see something similar to what the GFS was showing, especially across sections of Central America and Northern South America. Those areas could definitely pick up some amount of rainfall that could trigger some amount of isolated flash flooding, if not some landslides. So we just hope that the people who reside in those areas are taking necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected. But if we switch gears and focus a bit on Jamaica's rainfall forecast totals, we can clearly see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days, according to both the Euro and the GFS, should be across eastern Jamaica, the far eastern end. That is the Euro, definitely a bit more robust, going up into the yellows and the oranges that represent anywhere from 30 all the way up to 50 millimeters of rainfall. The GFS showing at least up to 22 millimeters of rainfall, but we do see rainfall extending from the east to the west across the island, so we can't rule out some isolated afternoon rainfall across these areas, central and western Jamaica for sure. We'll see exactly how it unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a frontal system right here extending from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way into sections of the United States. To the south of the frontal system, we have ridges of high pressure extending from the waters to the north of the Caribbean all the way over to the waters to the north of the Cabo Verde Islands right here. And we know these ridges of high pressure are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. First of all, the clouds associated with the frontal systems extending all the way into the United States bring cloud cover, showers and thunderstorms, even some snow in there for portions of the US as we speak. And we can make out the low to mid-level clouds being steered from east-west from the main development region into the Caribbean, all courtesy of the easterly flow of trade winds brought about by the ridges of high pressure to the north. And we can even make out the upper level flow of the cirrus clouds being streaked off from Central America, from Northern South America, all towards the north and east as we speak. But don't worry, there is no rainfall within all of those cirrus clouds at all. All of those are just being streaked off and pushed off towards the east as we speak. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, February 11, 2025. It was stated that rainfall in the form of some isolated showers would have been in the forecast of parts of northeastern Jamaica on Tuesday morning, also affecting sections of some central western parishes during Tuesday afternoon. Although northeastern Jamaica, we're talking about St. Ann, St. Mary, Portland, while central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Ann, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, while western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawny, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? As early as 8:01 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted not only here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So if we take a look at the visible satellite image that was posted at 8:01 a.m., We can definitely see the clouds bring some overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, a section of some northeastern parishes, definitely St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, some of the clouds even spilling into portions of St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine got on some of the overcast skies for sure. But there was definitely some isolated shores within these clouds across the northeast, St. Anne, St. Mary, and maybe even Portland earlier than that. And then during the afternoon at around 3:55 p.m., the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page but our other social media platforms, and they highlighted the clouds bringing overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, to sections of mainly central and western parishes. Look at the clouds, definitely blanketing Hanover, Westmoreland, sections of northern St. Elizabeth, northern Manchester, southern St. James, southern Trelawney, northern Clarendon. Definitely gotten on some amount of overcast skies, if not some isolated shores for sure. And we can see it all even better right here on the latest visible close-up satellite images of Jamaica. We can see all of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the easterly flow of the clouds. Well, all courtesy of the easterly flow of the winds brought about by the radiant high pressure to the north as usual. So we definitely got that rainfall across western parishes just as predicted. And the infrared close-up satellite images still confirming the high cirrus clouds being streaked off towards the northeast, and we can even make out the low level flow right here, the clouds still pushing off towards the west off of the island as we speak. And if we take a look here at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, this was showing Flatbridge at around 1:39 p.m. and we can clearly see that it was sunny for the most part at that time. People in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather took place at all today, and that's expected to continue tonight. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at some of the comments that came in, we can see on our Instagram page here from Kayas_happy_play stating overcast in Portmore. This was posted this morning when we had the clouds coming in. We also have Brenda Star 4952 stating overcast in Kingston 11. We even have Javon Panton stating Spanish Town sunny, and at least one comment here on our Facebook page from Sylvia Bando stating on and off drizzling of rain have me in and out the house with my laundry, had to hang them inside eventually. Brownstone, St. Anne. Thank you very much for confirming that morning rainfall in the north, Sylvia. Alright, so we're going to be looking at the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let's see what's happening right now. And the latest still image is showing 0015 UTC. So this is what 7:15 p.m. So this just came out 17 minutes ago, and we can still make out some of the clouds that were affecting the island today to the west of us now, and we can still make out the high cirrus clouds in the blues streaking off towards the northeast. Unfortunately, we still don't have the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery to show because it's still glitched out at February 3 and February 4. So we have to be dependent on the Guantanamo Bay Cuban military radar right here, showing some amount of moderate to heavy rainfall right here off the western peninsula of Haiti. Some of the rainfall, who knows, might just spill into portion of northeastern Jamaica as the night progresses. We'll see how it actually goes. Taking a look here at the Cayman radar, we can make out some of the isolated shore activity across the waters to the west of Hanover and Westmoreland. Some of this activity definitely pushing off to the west. Definitely had some of that onshore for sure across western Jamaica. We can even see some isolated shores right here to the west of the Cayman Islands. Not seeing much of anything right now across southern Cuba. But if we take a look right now, See Jamaica's YouTube channel is showing crossroads 7:33 p.m. We can clearly see people in their vehicles going about their business, people walking about going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather expected as we speak or as the night progresses. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can still have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, the GFS is showing that for 18th on Wednesday, which is actually 1 p.m., we're going to be having Jamaica embedded in some slight orange colors. That represents up to 1, maybe close to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperature for the month of February across Jamaica is around 86.4 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius, that's around 30.1 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30.1 degrees Celsius up to 30.2 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Wednesday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page up for Wednesday, February 12, 2025. And we have to highlight these because you know that when we have power outages across an area, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Wednesday. We're referring to Danieltown in the parish of Trelawney from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Tamarind Hill, Hampton in St. Anne, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. as well as Donalva at Standpipe in Hanover from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, when outside, seek shade. Eat fresh. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruit. Rest. Make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. And soak. Take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of drinking lots of water throughout the day. Even if you're not thirsty, drink lots of water. Put away those sugar drinks, by the way. Drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we can see the entire Atlantic basin embedded in dry air, which explains why it's so hard for it to rain these days. The air is too stable, the air is too dry. What we want to see in order for us to get more rainfall is more yellows, more blues, like what we see across the Eastern Pacific or across the Intertropical Convergence Zone. But for right now, the Atlantic is basically shut down. We don't have much in the way of troughs, tropical waves, anything. This is why it's so hard to get tropical systems to form in the Atlantic at this time of year. The air is too stable. We want unstable air for unstable or moist air for us to get a lot of moisture. But we're going to be getting some isolated showers here and there across the Caribbean. We have some yellows here and there. That represents the low end of the scale in terms of dry air. So we could get some isolated showers for sure. And at least we're grateful that in terms of the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we don't have anything in store for North America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, Northern South America, or Central America, because all the browns represent the Saharan dust should be right here across portions of the main development region. And we're indeed grateful that we're not seeing the dark shades of browns that we know can cause, or that we know means the very hazy skies that can cause some respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis, you name it. So we're glad that for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, most of the Saharan dust is way out there in the main development region, and it's not that robust of a plume. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, not much change at all. Still have the lowest waves in the northwestern Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico, well, the Gulf of America now, that we know represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height. Starting to see some high wave heights in the purples across the central portions of the Gulf of America. We also see the wave heights extending, some high wave heights extending from the southwestern Caribbean all across the central to the eastern Caribbean. All of the pinks, the purples, the burgundies, that represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to 3 meter wave heights for sure. And if we look at Jamaica's north coast, up to 2 meter wave heights expected. On the south coast, 2.6 meter wave heights expected, and that's because of the winds that are expected as well. Look at the winds extending all the way across the Caribbean into portions of the northwestern Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. You can clearly see the outline of the high pressure ridge right here. Definitely easterly flow curving northward, so the winds are gonna be strong across the Caribbean for sure. We see anywhere from 15 all the way up to 25, maybe even gusting to 30 knots for sure. Very strong winds. Gonna be a windy day tomorrow, and we can even close up or get in on a close up of Jamaica. South coast very windy. North coast gonna be windy too. And look at the flow. It's a bit more southeasterly than easterly, to be honest. Easterly would be something like this. It is definitely pushing in an southeasterly fashion, so look out for all of that. And we know anything that comes off of the sea, maybe some isolated shores for eastern Jamaica, and who knows, maybe some of that air might pile up across sections of some northern and western parishes. We'll see how all of that plays out. Either way, the upper level winds are still coming in from the southwest, so if we actually get some daytime heating convection, all those clouds will be pushed up towards the north, bring more of the rainfall on the north coast during the afternoon. Taking a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that at that time eastern Jamaica could get in some isolated showers. We see the blues right here across St. Thomas and Portland, so if you live in those areas, look out for some isolated morning rainfall. Then by 5 p.m, look at this. Not only are both the Euro and the GFS still showing that eastern Jamaica is going to be getting in some isolated showers, but GFS trying to incorporate northern and western Jamaica or northwestern Jamaica. Euro trying to incorporate central and western Jamaica. We'll see how that actually plays out. Either way, the forecast is going to be for, especially considering the east-south-easterly flow, the forecast is going to be for morning and afternoon rainfall for eastern parishes, with some of the isolated afternoon rainfall across sections of maybe northern and western parishes. And even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps here are showing that there's going to be rainfall somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro is showing up to at least 0.26 of an inch of rainfall out in the east. The GFS showing up to at least 0.09 of an inch of rainfall out in the east, but 0.27 of an inch of rainfall out in the northwest. We'll see how it actually plays out, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. And whatever rainfall that we get, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of February. We're in our dry season, and in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 90 millimeters of rainfall for the month of February. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 2.9 inches of rainfall for the month of February. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of February in terms of rainfall, or for the entire year, you can visit www.weather-and-climate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some low level to mid level clouds pushing from east to west across the Caribbean, from the eastern Caribbean into the western Caribbean as we speak. Definitely have some moisture embedded in some of these clouds. And if we take a closer look at the northeastern Caribbean, we can see that as of right now, we're getting in some isolated shores to the east of Guadeloupe, in and around Dominica, the British Virgin Islands, eastern and northern Puerto Rico, definitely getting in some isolated shores as we speak. And if we load these images from earlier today, we can see the flow of the isolated shores, but not really anything robust was taking place at that time. Maybe some isolated shores across eastern Puerto Rico, but that was basically it. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can make out some isolated shores coming in from the east, pushing westward as we speak. Maybe some of that could affect Barbados later on tonight, if not already. Some of that rainfall already affecting section of Martinique, some of it coming in from the east to affect section of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago getting on some of the isolated shores as we speak. And if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can make out some rainfall passing to the north, especially of the ABC Islands. Some rainfall near the border of Guatemala, Belize, and the Yucatan Peninsula right here. Some isolated shores right there. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall over the next 24 hours should be plaguing portions of French Guiana, Suriname Guyana, sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, while isolated showers in the greens and the yellows should be expected anywhere from Trinidad and Tobago northward. We're referring to Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, all the way up into maybe sections of Antigua and Barbuda, eastern Puerto Rico, northeastern Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, portions of the Cayman Islands might get on some isolated shores. Well, according to the GFS, not according to the Euro. Eastern Cuba getting on some of the isolated shore activity as well. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.